us in here, and then we'll be rolling. I'll do a quick little hey there, hi there, and then we'll go. All right. Did that change the sound quality? Can you hear
No,
me?
still
You
sound the
can.
same. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good deal, good deal. All right, we're sitting here today with Micheal Stellmann from Stellman Electrical Corp. Michael, thank you so much for taking the time to join in. Appreciate you being here.
Anytime, anytime. Always
Yeah,
here.
man. So what were you working on today? You just got home?
Today was kind of a boring office day, but we had a problem on a job. When you turn an LED and it's delayed, and the client swore that it was fine before we got there. We didn't
Okay.
even go on that side of the house.
Oh, interesting.
So I walk in. It's probably about a $14 million apartment.
Whoa.
So I walk in and I meet the two designers there. I go right to the hallway where the problem is. I hit it, very delayed. I said, okay, very delayed. I see it's a three-way, it's a hallway. I tell my guy, hang over here, and we jump to the back. I jump to the back. Diva dimmer, Lutron Diva dimmer, slides all the way down. I put it all the way up, hit it again. Boom, comes on. A little bit of a delay, but not as bad as the first.
All right.
Let's pop out the dimmer. Let's take a look at it. Model number is only good for incandescent halogen.
Right
I
on.
didn't put it in, someone else did.
Okay.
So I said, hey, you got the main red flag is dimmer's not compatible with the light. You should have a 153p, which is like the Diva version, LED style.
Right.
So I looked like a champ as soon as I was in there. And you got two, like, I was just telling my wife, I says, I said, I think I made these two designers moist, because one was 62, the other was about 58. I said, I probably look like a sex symbol to these two. I came in like a genius. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. You're like Mick Jagger walking in these houses in New
Yeah.
York
My
City,
wife
man.
just looks at me like, okay, all right. Tired of hearing how great you are.
I'm tired of hearing how great you are. That's great. So they were trying to do you experience that sometimes where you go into a scenario and you didn't do anything or you didn't touch a certain thing, but the people are like, well, you
Yep.
clearly are responsible for this because you were
Yes.
here. Yeah.
It happens from time to time.
Yeah. We had one where it was this crazy experience where sometimes an experience with a customer is reason enough for you to create protocol based on the experience. So like something goes so crazy that you're like, okay, there's something we're doing that we need to clearly say. Like we had this one person who came out. We looked at their project. I came out personally,
Yeah.
and they were doing a whole kitchen renovation. They had ripped everything apart, everything, and they were doing their own wiring too. So he'd run countertop receptacles, all 14 gauge wire. It's like
Hey,
just winging it, shooting from
yeah.
the hip. And and that's look. You want to call us in to help out? I'm happy to come take a look. But then they were just like not being honest about it, and so like we I looked at it. I took a look. I gave him a price, and we came in to do the work. When we came back to do the work, the first thing this guy says to me when I come in is he goes, "Hey, since the last time you were here, that three-way is not working." As in, like, "Hey, you broke my three-way switch by being in my house," and
Yeah.
and it all started to go downhill from there. So we noticed that like there was you can see from the framing and the way they open things up, there was a wall there, and the three-way switch he's talking about was actually it was just hanging like somebody had moved it from the old wall over,
Mm-hmm.
and then we just had to reconvene, Josh and I, and we were like, we can't do this job, man, because
Yeah.
this isn't gonna go well. Like they're gonna then we said the only way the only way we can move forward is if we pull permits. Like we have to permit this and make sure this is all kosher. And then they didn't want to do it because they were doing all the work themselves, obviously. But it was like it would have been fine had they just not tried to pin that on us right away.
Mm.
Isn't that wild?
It's sad how sneaky people are, and not everybody, but you
No,
get
it's
out there,
rare. Yeah,
you come across them, and you're like,
yeah.
how do you look at yourself? Like
Mm-hmm.
it just, I can never be that way.
Yeah,
I'm gotta be
it.
honest.
Well, the hardest part of that whole scenario was that when Josh and I both got the tingle in our spine where we're like, let's go outside and talk real quick before we do anything. And we talked about it. like what we felt like was going on. Like you could see the dates on the Romex. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, we know what you did, and that's okay, but like you're lying about it. Anyway,
Right.
the hardest part was coming back in the house and having to say, "Hey guys, can we have a talk with you for a second?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like you know, like as if they were children, be like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we see, you know what I mean? Like we're seeing.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't happen a lot, but every now and again it happens. When it
Yeah.
does, it's like those are the experiences. It's like that's just kind of like how you gotta. You don't get
Right.
trained for that kind of stuff in a
No.
trade school. That's just going inside of people's homes.
Yep.
You
That's
never,
just,
yeah,
you learn that over time. It's like
yeah.
talent, I guess you could say.
It is a talent. So in New York City, I mean, you got to come across some
Oh, we get some real skippies. You tell you.
skippies. That's great.
I
Oh,
mean, I always say if I was to put my true language on Instagram, I would be canceled, banned, locked up, whatever.
I guarantee it.
I say like the meanest things sometimes. But like I meet some people. Like I just fired like our first client
Okay.
in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
and you know, basically, she was writing the nastiest emails to my team,
Mm.
and I kept writing back, "Please be nice.
Yeah.
Please be nice. There's no need. I honor my work. If something's not right, and no, the main thing she was complaining about was neatness,
Okay.
which, to not to be an asshole, the job was infested with rats. Not for me.
Yeah.
So you're gonna bother me for leaving a empty box from a ceiling fan on the floor? Like really?
Yeah.
You're lucky I'm even in the house. The rats were in the walls. We could hear them.
That's
how bad it is.
crazy. Wow.
And I said, I'm not going to subject my guys to working there, the stress. I said, you know what? Let her sue me. What is she going to sue me for? Go ahead. Take me. I'm in debt. Sue me. Go ahead.
Right.
What are you going to take?
Sure. So you in working in New York City, I always try to wrap my mind around this when I see you guys up there. Is there a specific clientele that you target up there mostly? Do you do a little bit of everything? Because like with us, even if we say we do X, Y, and Z, we're still electricians, so people will call us with anything, right?
So yes and no, because when I first started my business, I took anything and everything I could get.
Yeah.
Wiring rooftop AC units, wiring a boiler, doing data polls, whatever came across my table, I took.
Yeah.
Now I'm at the point where if the job is not a home run, like lucrative,
Yeah.
I'm trying to not, I really don't want to take it. Like standard electrical work, I love electrical work. I love it. I'll do it all day long. But I'm competing against the bottom barrel guys.
Right.
Price.
Yeah.
So like I gave someone a price for a house, a high-end house in Long Island recently. And the guy's like, oh, I was at like 70K for a spec home. And he's like, I could get the job done for 50. I said, I understand that. But for me to do it, it's 70.
Right.
Because I carry insurance for Manhattan. I have a $4 million umbrella policy.
Okay.
Because the buildings won't let you in without it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I could create a plumbing leak that goes down a building and ruins someone's $2 million painting.
Totally.
Like you got to have that kind of insurance.
Totally. Yep.
So I can't go work in Long Island for regular jobs is what I'm saying.
That makes sense.
Because I'm out of their price point.
Okay. Yeah.
They would have to want to have me there to pay the extra. Basically.
So do you find, and that's such a good topic of conversation, because I think where we're at right now with Lumen Brothers is we're trying to understand where we stand and what that means, because we're only 3 years in. We do all residential, so it's like it's a tricky one. So it really is based on the demographic in your area. Like New York City, I'm sure you could work high end, right? Like nonstop.
Stupid. Like I always use the example. We were doing a $36 million penthouse. Now I wasn't the electrician there. I sold the Lutron system.
Okay.
Now, when I sent the quote, all I'm doing is selling light fixtures and programming, not even installing.
Huh.
My quote was $200K.
Okay.
Now, for me, my pockets, I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, I can't send this price to this guy.
Right.
He's gonna think I'm a crook, you know. But that's what this stuff really costs.
Right.
I gave a good price.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even blink. Okay.
Yeah.
Then his 100K up front deposit, order the lights.
Wow.
Like, because when you look at the 36 million that he's spending on the apartment, 200,000 is like $20 to me.
That's right.
When you start like looking at that, you know.
I mean, when you just saying the phrase 36 million for an apartment.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Shouldn't even be in the same sentence.
That's crazy, man. That's bananas. So crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, New York City's it's just bananas. And those products too. I mean, I was looking at the you did a post recently that was like the pool lights, right? The differentiation between the pool lights and how you can control them. What is that Lutron home system called? Homeworks? Homeworks, okay.
Yes.
And is that kind of their more high-end whole home system?
Yes, that's their number one system. They have 4 systems. Homeworks being the top. Now they have Radio Raw 3, which replaced Radio Raw 2. You have Raw 2 Select, which is like a dumbed down Radio Raw 2.
Okay.
And then Caseta that you see in Home Depot.
Sure.
All systems are freaking awesome. Don't get me wrong. They all have their specific price point. And that's how I go into these jobs. I kind of fill out the client and go, this guy's not going to pay for Homeworks.
Okay.
Like, I recently had a guy in Long Island show up with a Rolls Royce truck that's $400,000.
Whoa.
Right? So what do I going to specify for the job? I'm going to specify Homeworks.
Yeah, okay.
I get the phone call. I mean, he's a friend of a friend. Mike, what is this crazy? What is this price? I said, bro, you got a Rolls Royce truck. I'm giving you the Rolls Royce lighting system. You don't want the Rolls Royce lighting system? I literally changed it to Radio Raw 3.
Yeah.
Price dropped $30K.
Yeah, okay.
It could be that big of a difference.
Sure.
But with Homeworks, you could build variables in the software. It's honestly, it's cool. Like the flexibility of it. I love programming. So
yeah, I can tell.
I get into it. Like I recently did, I no exaggeration. I updated a Lutron system for the Getty family, like Getty Guess.
Yeah.
The great granddaughter's apartment.
No way.
Looked her up after. She's worth $5 billion.
That's bananas, man.
And she's really, really nice.
Yeah.
I always say, this is one thing I always say. People that are like ultra wealthy, rich, are so nice.
Huh.
The people that think they're rich, they got a little $2 million house. Yeah, they think like I owe them. Like,
yeah.
Give me a break with your $2 million, all right?
Right.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm not in that category, but I'm just saying, like, it's people that think they have money or the arrogant people usually.
Sure, interesting. Well, that makes sense. The people who just money isn't something that they even consider, right? Because why would you even have to think about it? Wouldn't that be wild? Be wild.
Yeah.
I'm in.
And I was laughing because when I was done, she's like, you have a Venmo? Can I tip you? And I'm like, I'm good, thank you. I mean, it was nice of her to say that. But,
sure.
I'm like, I'm good, thank you. I'm the owner. Like, I think she realized it. But
yeah. I love that when people don't realize you're the owner of the company. I think that says a lot.
Yes.
I think that's pretty cool.
Because I still get down and dirty.
That's right, as you should. It's fun. So when like making the decision as a company, because I'm curious about how Lutron even works. Like as the head of your company, did you see that as an avenue that was gonna, like, you saw these high-end Lutron products and you were like, I could sell this to people, this would work here? Or did it start some other way?
It started a different way. So when I worked for my first boss, who's the best, I only had 2 bosses, which both of them were great. But my first boss, we did high-end residential. Okay. I did Radio Raw 1. You had a program by running to the keypads, press this, press that, no laptop, no phone app. Huh. And the guy had a keypad that he kept in his pocket. I said, wow, he's controlling the lights with a wireless keypad. I thought it was amazing. Right. And I always stayed on top of it, like on the website, seeing what's new. And then my second job was affordable housing, so I did no Lutron. Okay. But I still kept staying on. I went and got the training on my own time, and I always did it on my side jobs and stuff like that. And then I was I always did the 3 systems, never Homeworks, because you have to get approved to do Homeworks. Not anyone could just do it. Okay. So now I was starting to work in Manhattan, and every freaking job was Homeworks. Okay. And like, you would go to someone's house, the chandelier didn't work. And I know, because I understand the system, it's not me, it's programming.
Okay.
And then, what do you mean you can't fix it? You're an electrician, that, and I'm really powerless. So I wanted to get homework certified just to service my customers better.
Yeah, makes sense.
Not even to be a homeworks dealer per se,
Yeah.
And I met with my rep that handles me, my guy Fred, who's the best. And he's like, bro, you should be a Lutron guy, because he just was amazed on like all the things I do.
Yeah.
And I'm very humble. I'm not like, I don't brag. I don't, I like what I do, and I really take pride in it, and I try to know everything.
Yeah.
So once I got certified, once you start selling it, it's like a drug. Like, you just want to keep selling it.
Okay.
And it's super fun to do.
Huh.
My end game goal is to really just sell it, program it, and manage the job where, I'm not, I mean, we'll still do electrical work, but if there's another electrician there, I'll work with the guy. I
Sure.
speak his language.
Yeah,
you know
sure.
what I mean? Like, I'm an electrician just like you, bro. I'm not here to talk down to you or anything. We're the same,
Yeah, sure.
So that's kind of how I try to target my business now,
Okay.
because electricians can't buy homeworks. It's very rare they let an electrician in.
Right. So
if I can get our fellow electrician, be like, when you got a homework job, you call me up, man. We're gonna make some money.
Huh.
Like, call me
Okay.
up. And there's a lot of room for us to make money.
So you act as a sales rep through Lutron, or if you can,
Yes.
if you see an opportunity for a client for that system, you can help an electrical team work on installing that. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's really cool.
Yeah, and I'm willing to travel. Like, I've been, I talk to other guys on Instagram. Like, dude, you got a job? I'll fly out. There's enough room to budget that flight in. Trust me.
Interesting. All right, that's good to know. That's so cool. See, I'm just fascinated by that sort of thing, because, like, as you're right about the competing with the lowest common bidder when it comes to home residential. You see it all the time. It's like,
Yeah.
you do have to find yourself in a specific camp
Yes.
if you want to make money. Otherwise, you end up like, what we see a lot of is, we see a lot of people that fish. Like, they'll contact you and they'll say, hey, I bought all my materials. What's your hourly rate? And we'll just never make any money doing that kind of work. And it's not anything against the person. Everybody's on a budget, and
Yeah.
everybody has their own way that they have to go, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
But as we're moving in this world, we're starting to see that, if you want to grow as a company, you've got to be specific about what you offer and how you offer it.
Yes.
And we're starting to find products that we like that. Like, that's kind of same as you're saying, where you really liked Lutron and it like drew you in. We're looking for those sort of things too, as far as like EV chargers are concerned. Whole home surge protection, like looking for the right model that we really feel, because there's so much data out there that's kind of like, well, these work most of the time, but sometimes they might not work, and this one's got a better rating than this one. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's hard to say. So
If you specialize and set yourself apart,
Yeah.
is when you become successful. Because and trust me, I've struggled with business just like anyone else.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a Lutron guy, don't mean I'm driving a Mercedes and have a big house. And, it's just like anything else in business. It's just not as labor intensive.
Yeah, sure.
And
Makes
I
sense.
try to cater to, like, I had a call from another Lutron guy today from Jersey. He has a job in the city. He's a one-man show. He's an older guy. He's probably about 60.
Hmm.
I met him at his Lutron event.
Hmm.
And he's like, hey, you do electric? He called me today. He goes, I got a Lutron job. I want you to install all the devices for me. He just wants me to go in, do the install,
Yeah.
walk away. He'll do the programming.
Really?
And since my guys understand the Lutron,
Yeah, sure.
I'm providing electrical work.
Huh.
Because a lot of times those guys have a hard time explaining Lutron to an electrician that's never done it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, so he doesn't have to worry about that with me. He can just give me the job, I'll put it together, and deliver, and then he can program.
That's pretty great, man.
You know.
What's your and your guys are all pretty trained up on it.
Yes.
What's your crew size? How big is your team?
Right now I have 11 in the
Okay.
field
Wow.
and 2 guys in the office.
Wow. That's a pretty big I mean, it's not a big company when the grand scheme of things, but from where I'm sitting, like from what we're doing, we're in that phase right now where we're just like, how do we do one? Like, we have our apprentice, and the apprentice is doing great. We're figuring that out. And then we've got our bookkeeper, and we're trying to like, man, if we're at that point where we're like, we kind of need to keep this thing moving. In order to keep this thing moving, I'm just working all freaking day.
Yeah.
Josh too. But then like starting to budget and plan for hiring somebody, you see pretty quick where you're at, and we're not there. We're not there yet. So
Yeah.
it's like, what were your first steps moving forward hiring
So
people?
obviously, I made a shit ton of mistakes through the years.
Of course.
At first, I'd say 6 to 7 years were like total nightmare.
Okay.
And I'm in my 12th year now,
Okay.
but I don't know if you ever seen Sean Van Dyke on here. He writes the book Profit for Contractors.
I guess I'm unfamiliar.
Yeah, he was a millwork guy, but I bought his book, and one of the things that he brings up in the book, which I thought was very powerful, was let's say you're wearing many hats, and your partner is as well. Now you might turn around and say, all right, I'm going to hire a project manager, but if you're not paying yourselves your salary plus what a project manager costs, you don't have his salary in the budget yet.
Right.
So you need to like figure that out. You
Yeah.
know, like pay yourselves that, so that when you do hire that guy, you peel off that salary for him.
Yeah.
And you just keeps the wheels keep spinning.
Yeah. And that's a weird thing to wrap your head around I think when you're coming at it, especially as a tradesperson,
Right.
you're like used to being dirty and people kind of referring to you as the help. And
Yeah.
and a lot of us come from like real normal blue collar backgrounds where there's, it's hard to wrap your mind around charging what you need to charge for your operating costs for a company at first.
Yes.
Like I think we all underbid ourselves at first, and there's doubts about whether you're going to get the work. There's doubts about how do I price it right,
Right.
But what you're saying there is what we just started to sitting down with a guy that has offered to kind of mentor us, and it's been really helpful because he's same as you. He's been in business. I think they've been in business about the same. I think he said.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was talking to us about that concept of budgeting more. Like if you're going to hire somebody and you need to pay that person $60,000,
Yeah.
you've got to also take into consideration the material costs that they're going to accrue for the year, and the vehicle and the insurance and all that stuff. So you're really budgeting whatever 120 or whatever for that 60,000. And so you've got to set your prices accordingly. And we're in the middle of figuring that out.
Yeah. It's one of the things that we did, and this is before I even read the guy's book, is I had a girl that worked for me. She was great. She wanted to do human resources. So she went to go work she was very like, by the book. Like,
right.
She wanted me to like write up reports when guys made mistakes. I'm like, I call the guy a fucking idiot and we go back to work. That's
there
it.
You go.
No report,
Right.
This is how it is construction,
Right.
So, but she was really sharp. So we basically took the overhead for the year, and then we figured out the working days of the year. So we figured, you have 52 weeks, 5 days a week. But then I took out all the holidays, all the personal and vacation days the guys get. And then I know, okay, I have, let's say, I don't know what it is, but let's say 205 working days from each guy I get a year. So then I took my overhead, divided it by all the guys and the days of the week, and said, okay, I need to bring in per guy $200 a day to cover my soft cost, my overhead.
Right.
And then add their salary into that. And then that's where I'm at.
Wow.
She made a whole spreadsheet, and it was very, very helpful just to put that. And I hate paperwork. So.
Yeah. Most of us do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything I can do to kind of speed that up or automate any sort of paperwork process, I try to do. But it's a great way to think about it, because you do have to, like, it's not just about what you think an hourly cost is.
Right.
For an electrician. It is what your company needs to make to run the way that it's designed to run. And you've got to think of it that way. So I think when you start to think of it that way, because my mind is beginning to go there,
right,
your prices make more sense as opposed to just shooting in the dark, hoping that you're somewhere in the realm of competitive or what seems like it looks like the right number for you, which could be who knows what, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a science to it.
And I'm sure when you started, I did the same thing. You would go look at a job and be like, yeah, 500. In your head, you're like, I wouldn't pay more than 500 for this. But it's not your money. It's their money.
That's right.
They got to pay,
But that's the way you have to think about it, and
Yeah.
that's when it really. I think it's funny how like as time elapses, as you're doing something like running a trade company,
Hmm.
you just the lessons come in sequentially. They just do. You hit these roadblocks where you're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, we have been doing that all wrong. We have to completely change the way we do that if we want to keep going. And it's just a process of learning, but it's cool.
Yeah, yeah. No, it is.
When you hired your first, I've always heard this, that hiring your first hire is the most important, the hardest, and they'll quit pretty quick. Not, and that's probably not always true. But then every hire past that is
Yeah.
easier and easier.
I actually, everyone that's been, I have a lot of family and friends that work for me, or friend of a
Oh,
family.
good. Okay.
I had family. My brother worked for me, my cousin, but now
Okay.
they both don't. But like one guy I've known for 14 years that's been with me. They call him my son. That everyone makes fun of him because he gets
Right.
murder. So, and then like pretty much everyone. I treat everyone like family, honestly.
Sure.
At the company, like trust me, like working around here, I got like a lot of old school people, and they're like, when I would eat lunch with my guys, don't eat lunch with you guys. You're their boss. Don't eat lunch with them. Don't socialize with them.
Yeah.
I'm not like that.
No, I'm not either.
Nah, I fucking sit with them. I joke with them.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Yeah.
But people try to put that in your head, that old school, like treat them
Yeah.
like a worker. I'm not
Sure.
that way.
Okay.
And that's why, like, because I got 401k and I got medical for my guys.
That's great.
Because I would lose a lot of guys to the union.
Okay.
Because being in New York City,
Yeah.
there's plenty of jobs where you could just sit there and get a check.
Okay.
City worker, union, civil servant, plenty, like, there's so many of those jobs.
Yeah.
Why would a guy kill himself when he can go be a custodian? I'm not trying to pick on trades, but professions.
Of course.
A lot of those jobs, they can't get fired.
Right.
So I hear my friends brag, yeah, I played PlayStation all day. But you're at work. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you're proud of that? They're proud of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not a job.
Right. I'm with you. I mean, it's it's a difference in mindset, I think, and because I was in the military and it just didn't vibe with me. Nothing against the military.
Right.
I was happy I did it. I learned a lot,
Yeah.
but I learned while I was in there that I just I'm happier moving at my own pace, and
Right.
my pace is pretty quick, and I like that. And being in a big organization for me is just can be
Right.
can be brutal.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. I feel like in New York City, because we don't have to compete with that like
Yeah.
that around here. Like there is the union here. There's union jobs and those exist too. But as far as like the residential sphere, we're not really competing with larger companies
Yeah.
like that. It's more like boutique shops.
Yes.
What do you do to compete with union work?
Well, we don't really compete against union because they won't do residential.
Got it.
But there are, I would say, about another half dozen guys similar to me. They do Lutron. Some of them actually are direct dealers too.
Yeah.
But some aren't. But they just specialize in high-end residential, chandeliers, this and that.
Okay.
You pretty much, to specialize in high-end res, you need shoe covers and drop cloths, and you're good.
That's great.
Because I can tell you stories of, like, I would be at a job and like a plumber would come or a carpenter or an HVAC guy, and the client would be like, "Can you take your shoes off?" And they're just like, "Nope." They're just straight up, "No." It's an
Wow.
OSHA violation if I take my shoes off.
Right
"Oh,
on.
can you put these shoe covers on?" "No, I might slip in them." Like, I see people talk to customers like this.
Wow, that's
And
wild.
I'm in there cringing like, what a fucking dick. This guy's a dick. I just think it's such a dick attitude to have.
Yeah, for sure.
But they love having that power of that they can say that to the client.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are bitter against rich people.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They
I'm
just
sure.
don't like them. I don't care.
Sure.
They're nice to me, so I'm nice. I
Yeah.
don't like rich people that are dicks. But if they're cool, I'm cool.
Yeah, I think that goes across the board. Just
Yeah,
people that are dicks, regardless of your social status. If you're a
exactly,
dick, you're a dick.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting, man. I feel like we. That's another way to set yourself apart in the trades too. Is it's not just about like, especially if you're doing residential. It's like it's not
Yeah,
just about the work you do or the things you offer, the products you offer. It's like, are you respectful? Like, are you the kind of person who comes
yeah,
into a person's house and they're excited that you're there? They're happy to see you. They actually want to like talk to you.
yeah,
I can't tell you how many people, even with what we do, we don't do. We do mostly like regular people's residential work. There's some
yeah.
we do run across some high end stuff around here, but it's nothing crazy. But
Right.
even in a standard, very nice row home, we'll set up shop and get our drop cloths out and do all that
Yeah,
stuff. And people are just like, none of the other trades do that. I'm just like,
yeah,
why? Why do
yeah,
they?
yeah. It takes
Anyway,
5 seconds.
it takes 5 seconds,
Make you look like a champ.
and it makes you look like a champ. You look like you care, and that's all people want to see when you're in their house. That's it. They
It's their
just want
home.
to.
I
They
always say,
just,
guys,
yep,
you're in someone's home. Don't forget that.
yeah.
Guys
That's
are good. I really never had
good.
an
Yeah,
knock on wood, never had an issue. My guys are very respectful.
yeah.
I joke with clients sometimes. They go, "You guys are so nice," and I go, "Well, I'd rather them be nice than know what they're doing." And people
Yeah.
like stop. They like freeze.
That's hilarious. We only do sensitivity training. They're actually terrible electricians.
Yes.
It's such a like overlooked element of the trades, and it's not even something that I think it's a lot of like credit as far as like what makes somebody good at their job as an
Yeah.
electrician or any kind of trade person. But I think it can't be understated. Like, because I don't like going into a client's home who's a jerk.
Right.
And it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And every time I do, I'm like, okay, mental note,
Yeah.
not answering that call again
Right.
because what a jerk. It's reciprocal, and
Yeah.
and like you said, it's their house, man. It's a big deal.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. How do you find like when you said you've got 12 guys,
Yeah, 11 in the
11 in
field.
the field, two in the office?
Yeah.
How do you find them? How do you vet? What's your vetting process like?
So I'm a terrible interviewer because I like everybody. I like to give people chances.
I'm the same way. I'm terrible. You're right. Yep.
And so I do like I've done Indeed.
Okay.
So the last hire I had was Indeed, which I got lucky. The guy's great. It's in the office.
Okay.
I'll make sure I won't share this podcast with him. No. He he was actually a home run of a find because he helps me with scheduling, talking to people, and he picked up quick
Yeah.
because he came from the management background.
Okay.
He worked for a management company, and he picked up like the lingo and stuff because he already had a little from talking to plumbers, talking to electricians. He caught on real quick, and
Okay.
I take all my Lutron stuff. So, he and plus the guy's 6'5".
Oh,
I'm
all right.
5'6". So he walks in my office for the interview. I said, "Motherfucker, you tall." I'm sure you don't start off interviews like that, but that's how I started.
Well, I think the best thing about you is people know exactly what they're getting, and
Yeah.
I find that refreshing.
Yeah. I'm an open book.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And I also I don't know if it's because I was raised by heathens, it probably is, but I don't have any like internal feelings toward profanity. I don't I don't even notice it.
Yeah.
It's probably just because I'm an animal, but
Yeah.
I don't. So
Yeah.
I'm always surprised when like I see a comment somewhere where somebody's like couldn't get past the profanity. I'm always like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Some people don't like that. That's interesting.
So I
Yeah.
laugh because I met my wife on Match.com.
Okay.
I'm married 15 years now.
All right.
So I was on Match.com before it was a Playboy website. It was like really for dating, looking for a wife.
Okay.
So when like on there, you have like check boxes, your likes and dislikes. And when I would look through with the girls on there, and if sarcasm was a turnoff, I'm like, fuck that bitch, miserable bitch.
Yeah,
I
you're
do
just
not like sarcasm.
yeah, well, yeah, and you're just setting yourself up for failure, you know.
Yeah. I would get like I see a good looking girl, sarcasm turnoff, fucking bitch.
Yeah, how sarcasm is wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, Yeah, I mean, you and I are on a slippery slope of heading into political conversation there. But I'm with you. I just don't have the sensitivity toward it.
Right.
I like funny stuff.
Uh,
I like when people make fun of me.
it's great.
My wife was talking. I have a. I don't know why I do this, but I plan for my funeral someday because I want it to be a good party. Like
Right.
I'm curating my own funeral playlist on Spotify because I don't
Oh,
want anybody else to be in charge of that. And so
that's great.
part of me is I want people to just come make fun of me. I want to get
Yeah.
roasted at my funeral. I'd love, maybe
Yeah.
even before. If I find out what the date's gonna be, maybe I'll do a show beforehand,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everybody can just come destroy me. I would love it.
I love when I'm in a ball breaking like
Yeah.
mode with someone
Oh yeah.
because I tell everyone when someone's making fun of me, I'm learning from them for me to make someone else. Like it's honing my skills.
Sure, sure.
Just bring it on.
That was our thing that we did when I was obviously growing up. That was a big thing, was just sitting around making fun of each other. But when I was doing stand up, there was this group of friends that I made that they were just it was a group of black dudes that that was how they hung out. Like
Yeah.
if they were hanging out over a period of time, they were just continuously thinking of ways to make fun of each other so that like
Yeah.
they called it joning. You're just joning each other. So you all
Yeah.
night long, you never know when one's coming. You just look at Doug, looks like this, or you couldn't wear the wrong clothes.
Hmm.
I went out to LA one time to visit those guys. I
Yeah.
wore some sneakers that I really liked, and they were like, "Would you fucking walk here with
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
sneakers? You can't. We're not. You're not getting on stage with those. They were like, it was great. I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, it's one thing I always say. Like black comedy is the best.
It is. It's
For me
fucking
being from the city,
yeah. It's
and
wonderful.
growing up with blacks and just having
Yeah,
that humor.
totally.
Oh man, it's
I cut my teeth in a lot of black clubs in the DC Baltimore area
yeah.
because I worked blue. I did like I swore a lot and whatever when I was a kid, and then
Right.
I just found myself in this niche doing it. But black clubs are way different than white clubs,
Oh yeah.
and they're so funny, like uproariously over the top, crying,
Yeah.
laughing, funny. Yeah, I
Oh,
saw this dude one time talking about his joke was like talking about dating a girl with a C-section scar. And how that was like something that he had to deal with like later in life. You got to deal with. You got to like date girls. And he said he dated this girl whose C-section scar was so big. He was like, "Damn, what'd you have, an autopsy?"
that's brutal.
Oh, but I mean, it just was joke after joke like that, where you're just like, "Oh my god, that's so funny."
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about inappropriate humor. I was raised on it. I think I just
Yeah.
like that. There's I think it stems from the depths of human, like the human funny bone. Like because if you're a little baby and
Hmm.
somebody falls down, babies will crack up laughing at you.
Yeah.
If you stub your toe or hurt yourself, nothing makes a baby laugh harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
something inherent in us to
Yes.
laugh at the pain of another human being, and I don't know what it
I,
is, but I'm into it.
yeah. No. It's hysterical.
It
I
is
mean,
hysterical.
especially when it happens on the job site. When
Yeah.
someone hurts themselves,
Okay.
once you know they're okay,
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
it's bad game. It's
That's
you freaking idiot. How did you do that? Like right into it.
yeah, for
Oh,
sure. Of course.
so,
Well, because we've all been hurt, and it's like I think that's the part of it too. Is it's like when you make fun of your friends, you've all done. It's not like you're impervious to it or that it's not coming your way. It's not
yeah.
like you're just ganging up on one person over and over again. It's you're all gonna get it, and it's the same thing when like in the military when we would do we'd have to get gas qualified every year. We'd have to go in a room and they have the CS grenade and you gotta take your mask off and get gassed, and
Right.
it sucked, but it was hilarious when you watched your friends go through it because
Yeah.
because you did it too, and it sucked
Yeah.
when you did it. And so I don't know what that is. I don't know why that's a thing, but I enjoy it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it is almost no longer a thing though because there is this conflation between like it being mean and mean things being like for example, I'm teaching my daughter, like I have a 6-year-old, and I'm showing her all these movies. I want her to have an understanding of humor.
Right.
And I want her to know like what's funny. But when we watch older films or older TV shows, Looney Tunes is a great example.
All the best. Yes.
They're killing each other. They're dropping
Yeah.
anvils and
Yeah.
giving
Shocker.
each other dynamite and electrocuting each other. And when she first watched it, she was like, that's mean." And I'm like, I'm over there dying laughing.
Yeah,
Like, no, that's not mean. It's not real. It's absurd.
right.
So anyway, I think I want to try through my children to retain that level of like sense of humor and reality.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, no, my household is definitely sarcasm central.
totally.
Yeah, my older guys has the same humor as me.
Oh
You know,
man,
just ball breaking nonstop.
yeah,
Even my little guys are wise ass,
yeah.
but it's fun. My wife just sits there like,
Are you
you
all
know,
boys? Did you have any girls?
no girls, yeah, no
No
girls.
girls. We're all
Only girl
girls
is
on my
a
side.
dog. I got a
Okay.
dog.
All right. Got it.
I
Um,
call her bitch. I'm like, you can't help it, but you're a bitch.
well, that's exactly what she is.
Exactly.
That's right. She's old school.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm surrounded by girls. I have all girls, and I have all my wife and both my daughters are left-handed. So I got three
Ooh,
left-handed girls that I don't know what that means, but
right.
that's means something. It's got to mean something.
Gotta mean something. We'll on the mystery will be uncovered at some point.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Did you not to get super off track, but have you seen this new Graham Hancock special on Netflix about ancient it's called Ancient Apocalypse. Have you seen
No,
this?
but I will
Have,
watch.
have you heard any of it? This guy
No,
I just like devoured the entire series. This guy's basically supposing that through evidence that human civilization's much older than we think it is. Anyway, you should check it out. It's interesting. I think archaeologists hate him, and I think geologists hate him too because he's not very scientific. He's like a journalist, so he like kind of supposes all these like hypotheses. So he'll find like something and he'll be like, "But what if they like were like coffee fanatics?"
yeah,
And this whole, he like kind of goes a little too far. So I think scientists are like, "This guy's not scientific," but I think he is onto something. Anyway,
no.
you should check it out.
I always break anytime there's like a serious topic going on.
Yeah, yeah,
I pull out the flat Earth. Like,
yeah.
yes, the Earth's flat, and everyone just kind of freezes, looks at me. It's like an ongoing joke in the shop,
That's so good.
you know.
Do you pull it out in front of clients sometimes?
No, all once I did so far because I needed to break like the topic and get out of there.
Yeah.
So,
I worked with an old guy for the first company I worked for, and he was like at the end of his career, and he didn't give a shit. So he like would his conspiracy theories would be right on the tip of his tongue. I
right,
can see I'm totally gonna be this guy when I'm old,
right.
but it's just like I remember being in a basement with him. We're wiring up some lights in this basement, and the homeowner comes downstairs, and it's it's me and him, and we're wiring it, and he just starts talking about his theories on robots coming to kill us all, and it's like, I was like, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna be in the truck. I'm gonna wait in the truck while you
Yeah,
finish this.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, you got to remember to keep your conspiracy theories to yourself for most of the
Yes.
day.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
That's cool. So when you think about your company, man, when you think about like, do you like that size where you are? Do you like the 12 man? You think that's where you're gonna sit?
Like yes, or small, a little smaller. I'm thinking
Yeah.
between 8 and 12. 'Cause
Okay. Why do you feel that way?
I feel I need one of my guys in the office. I'm gonna probably try to make him a project manager
Okay.
because I'll be honest, Doug. Like some jobs, I don't even go.
Okay.
I don't even see them. And then sometimes when I do go to a job,
Yeah.
I'm furious on the quality because
Okay.
it's not what I would do.
Okay. Yeah.
And me to have them take it apart and redo it costs me money
Yeah.
that I'm not already making. The jobs aren't. My guys are great. I'm not knocking the guys at all, but you hold a certain standard
Of course.
that you want. Not everyone has OCD.
Yeah. Right.
Not everyone's a neat freak. Not
Right.
everyone is.
Sure.
Everyone's different in this world.
Right. Yeah.
And you can't expect everything to be the same all the time.
Right.
So I feel like in order for me to keep what I have, I need to make a project manager that pops in on all the jobs,
Hmm.
because some of the guys get lost at the jobs,
Yeah.
take longer than they should. And, it's just like running, but they're doing their job. My guys, one thing I will say, they don't sit in the van with the heat on for 2 hours.
Okay. Right.
Because if I ever heard something like that, I would lose my shit.
I'm sure.
Plus, they're honest guys. They
Good.
would never really do that to me.
Yeah.
But maybe they're not being efficient, they're over ordering material, just stupid things.
Sure.
Like it's insane the amount of waste when you do have employees.
Okay.
You know?
Do your teams, do you have it set up so where your teams are managing their own projects? You have kind of like
Yeah.
leads for the teams that kind of run it?
Yeah, so I
Okay.
keep everyone kind of in pairs,
Okay.
and whoever's the lead of that pair is running the job. But some guys, certain people say, "Oh, I have too many." When they make a mistake, that's because I have too many jobs.
Got it.
Meanwhile, I used to run all the fucking jobs by myself,
Right.
no problem.
Sure.
Then my favorite thing is when they tell me, "Oh, but you've been doing it so long." But no, I haven't, because 7 years in, I was doing it, and you got 10 years in.
Sure.
So you suck. That's what I tell them. But
Yeah.
I'm built different. Like,
Yeah.
I'll work 14, 16 hours, no problem.
Sure.
Like, I was just telling my wife, I gave up coffee for I have a morning and an afternoon. I gave up the afternoon to try to start going to bed normal.
Okay.
After like 3 nights, I'm like, I'm not getting enough work done. So I started back with my afternoon coffee so I could stay up to midnight doing emails and stuff,
Okay. So
Because
you,
that's when I'm the most productive, because there's
Okay.
no phone calls and distractions.
yeah. Do
And,
you, I got so many questions for you, man.
ADD kicks in too.
Okay. I'm with you. Look, the hardest part about what we do, really being our size, is the phone. The phone is so hard. Like,
Yeah.
it is never a good time. It is. I'm always in a crawl space or on a ladder or driving or talking to a client. It's like the phone is always an interruption, and we're trying to figure it out. And so we're using Google Voice, and we just upgrade. I just realized we were using like their starter pack, but if you upgrade to their standard, you have these options where you can they've got these auto attendants that can give push button options and stuff. We're trying to figure out like what's a better way to do it than we're doing it. What do you do?
My trick is my phone, I don't have voicemail on it.
Okay.
So if I don't answer, no matter what time of the day, it forwards to the office number.
Okay.
So my guy Dan's always in the office, so he'll pick up the call, take the message. If it's an important thing, call the job that it's whoever's at that job or whatever.
Right.
It's fine calling. But I don't get any messages to my phone. It all goes to the office.
Okay.
And if I'm doing a job where I don't want to be bothered, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Only my favorites come through, which is all my employees and my family.
Okay.
And everyone else just goes to the office.
Good. Yeah.
You know what? I honestly, I get it anywhere. Like on a bad day, I'll get about 70 phone calls.
70.
Yeah.
That's big.
The other day, I was so pissed. It was 11 o'clock in the morning, and I had 40 phone calls by 11 o'clock in the morning.
Whoa.
I'm not even joking. I'm not saying I answered them all. I didn't.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
But if I answer every phone call, I'm not going to get anything done.
Yeah, that's how we feel too. It's like, especially when there's just the two of us and our apprentice, it's like, what do? You find yourself in these like waves of momentum, and you're just like, what do we do about this? Like, how do we do this the best? Because we can't. I don't know if we can't. I don't know if it makes sense to hire an office person.
So you got to make sure.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to see how this Google Voice scenario goes. It basically just gives your callers push button options to give them a little bit, instead of just not getting somebody to talk to, they at least maybe feel like they've got an option to say, hey, talk to Josh, talk to Doug, whatever the case may be. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's a tough thing. It took me, for a while, it was just, I answered the phone, only me,
Yeah.
I would come back at the end of the day with 12 messages. And,
Yeah.
When I didn't have an office person.
Yep.
But, sometimes you can't please everyone. You have
It's
to always
true.
say that to yourself.
Yeah.
I can't please everybody. I'm only one person.
Right.
And one thing I also read in a magazine once, and it stuck with me. I don't remember where I read it, but don't worry about the work you don't have. Worry about the work you have.
Yeah.
Because you screw up the work you have, you're not going to have more work.
That's a fact.
you
Yeah,
know?
and I like that too. And I think that's a great way to approach it is like just focus on the client. Because I think if you're servicing the clients that you do have the way that you want to,
Yeah,
then you're doing what you're designed to do. You'll attract more clients like that.
yeah.
Because those clients are out there, the ones that you
Yeah.
really want to work for, that you meet. They've got a project.
Mhm.
They like the way you do it.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for.
And one thing I never ever do is put someone on hold when I get another call.
Okay.
I finish the call.
Yeah.
I never say,
Yeah.
hold on 1 second.
No. Right.
If it's somebody that works for me, okay,
Yeah.
I'll say, hang on 1 second. But if I'm on the phone with a client,
Yeah.
I do not disrupt them and say, hold on.
Right.
If I get another call, I have like my auto reply set up.
Sure.
On a call you back ASAP.
Yep.
Stuff like that.
That's good.
But I never ever switch over. Finish out the call, then I call the other person back.
Okay. That's good. That's good advice. We'll dial it in. It's probably going to just continue to grow and change like this whole thing. It's just there's never any static anything. It just is constantly moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I joke around with my first boss. I mean, he's been doing it probably 40 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I still talk to him and stuff. And we joke. I'm like Gerard. I can't figure it. I'm still trying to figure it out. You're always learning.
I think
and he says to me, I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
you
Yeah, I think that if you don't come from that perspective, you're going to get blindsided,
Yeah.
by your own ignorance or, it's you're always just a second away from getting your ass kicked because you
Yeah.
just never know what you're going to walk into. You never know what the client's going to be like. You never know. You just never know.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a million ways to do it. I like what you guys are doing, and I think it's inspiring to see how you're niching in that direction. Like
Right.
we're looking for, I don't know if we're looking to niche, but my eyes are open to that sort of stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
what are the ways to really set yourself apart? Well, I think it's quality, right? It's like,
Yeah.
obviously Lutron is a quality, right?
Yeah.
It's a quality product
Yes.
to be able to offer
White
that.
service. is
Yeah.
what I call it,
Okay.
And another thing too, reason why I decided to stay that niche
Yeah.
is I would take commercial jobs, like let's say a 4-family house that you just kind of doesn't matter, you bang it out and you get out.
Yeah.
We're being neat on those jobs, and I'm not budgeted to be neat because you're the low man bidding.
Right.
So I just had to like give up those jobs,
Right.
Because they weren't profitable.
That's right. I agree, man. And we feel the same way. It's like if you're at a space, if you're at a project and you've bid it and you get in there and you feel like you don't have enough time to, like you said, be neat.
Yeah.
Damn it. What are you doing? It's like we're not doing this. We're not their team. We're not the team they're looking for. They're looking for a team that doesn't want to be neat.
Yeah.
And that's just not, I don't know, man. I'm too anal retentive about it. And so is Josh. It's like, I'm in a person's house. I got to be like super neat.
And a lot of times too, like I have a couple electricians that are local that I'm friends with, and like if I get a call in, I'll be like, send it to blah blah blah, send it to blah. I don't even.
Sure.
You know what? Maybe he'll get a high end and throw it back at me.
Sure. I think that's the way. We do the same thing. It's like there's so many good teams out there. I think it says a lot about you to refer somebody to a team that's not you, that that the client would like.
Yeah.
That you're not just like brushing them off, but you're like, look, go check these guys out. They probably have the time, and you'll really like them too.
Yeah.
Because that reflects you too. It's like everything you do, everybody you refer somebody to, reflects back on who you are as a tradesperson or as a human. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you gotta be careful who you hang out with.
Oh yeah.
So were there before we go tonight, and I'll let you go here soon, but were there any people in your life when you were getting started doing this? You mentioned your old boss a couple times, but like who really stood out to you as like your main mentor who
Well, definitely my first boss.
Yeah.
Was huge. My side, he got me the residential side down to a science and like being neat and doing things like that. My second boss was key as a mentor because he taught me like the commercials. We did affordable housing.
Okay.
So I learned access control, fire alarm systems, how to cookie cutter, how to mass produce like assembly line construction,
Yeah.
like ways to make it efficient. like basically, I'll give you an example. Like he would take the blueprints and he would photocopy the apartment on an 8.5 by 11 paper,
Mm-hmm.
and he would make a binder, apartments A through F, in a binder, and we would keep that on the floor with us. And then like a team of two would get apartment A, just pull it out, give it to them.
Yeah.
It was cookie cutter, boom, boom, boom.
Sure.
And all the circuits were the same number. So when you make your panel schedule, you just make one schedule for all 150 panels. Imagine every panel was different. Like you would drive yourself nuts making panel schedules.
Yeah.
Just learning that production side of the business.
Okay.
My first service with him was a 5,000 amp service.
Whoa.
When I was done with that, I'm like, I never want to do this again. I hate bending big wire and 4-inch pipe.
Yeah, it's
those
brutal.
are for the guys with the little dicks, you know. Like that's how I joke with those guys that way. Because when they pick on me, I'm like, listen, I'd rather work with my brain, you know. So I just bust their balls. It's like guys that drive pickup trucks, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
That don't need them. I'm saying.
That's right. Yeah, they're just like the dolled up pickup trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Plenty of those around here.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure, man.
But yeah, like once I did, so he was like a good mentor that way. And then I have another like personal friend. He's got a monster company. He's got like over 100 guys, non-union.
Wow.
And I go for breakfast with him once in a while. He's a great dude. I learned a lot from him, like business-wise.
Yeah.
He's a no-nonsense business guy. You know, he helps me out a lot. I help him when I can.
That's cool.
But he's another good guy that, you know, I love talking shop with guys, you know,
Same.
especially older guys, you know.
Yep.
I just started I went to my first IAEI meeting, which is for electrical inspectors.
Okay.
So every month they have a meeting at a restaurant, which was so cool because I went, there must have been about 70 master electricians there.
Huh.
You know, every class, they bring someone in to talk. They brush up on a little bit of code, and we eat.
Sounds great.
You know, which was cool. You know, I talked to a couple of guys next to me, you know. But no one there is really like, does what I do. They're more like commercial guys.
Okay.
We have non-union and union guys there. So it's cool. Like, it basically, you know, it's an association for all electricians, you know.
Yeah. That's really cool, man.
I'm going to try to get more involved with that next. You know?
I think that's a really good idea. And do you feel like, as an owner of a company, what are some, like I saw on your website, you're affiliated with like, I'm not going to think of the name of it now. It's an abbreviation for one of the electrical conferences, CISO or something like that. What is it?
Well, CEDIA.
CEDIA, that's what it is. CEDIA.
That's the Custom Electronics Association.
Okay.
So, they have the expo every year. Actually, Kyle Figueroa was there this year with me.
That's right. That's where I saw you guys. That's right.
And
right
Pete was there, and Custom Electric from Texas was there.
Cool.
But honestly, I've been going to that expo since 2010.
Okay.
So I'm like a self-taught low voltage guy from going to that thing.
Huh.
And they don't like electricians there.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, it's so funny. Kyle will tell you, like, when I go, they go, what do you do? I'm an electrician, but I'm a Lutron catcher dealer. So once I say that, then they're like, oh, okay. Then they'll talk to me.
Okay.
But before I was that, I'm an electrician. Oh, like certain booths, they don't even want to talk to you.
Interesting.
But it's pretty funny.
Why is that?
They don't want, because a lot of the products they make is to take the work away from the electrician.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. Right.
They're like, hey, look what we came out with. You don't even have to call an electrician.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I'm an electrician.
Uh-huh.
You know? Like,
yeah.
Even like when I go to the booth for my membership, I wanted to see what kind of perks and stuff they have.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we're doing a lot of stuff for you guys behind the scenes. You know, we're fighting for you so you don't have to have licenses and states. And in my head, I'm like, I want them to have licenses so I'm not competing against non-licensed guys.
Totally.
You know, like they're like telling me what I don't want to hear.
Yeah, that's right.
But those guys, they don't have to be licensed.
Oh, that makes sense.
You know, so, but New York, technically, they want them to have a low voltage license.
Okay.
But not all of them have it. But whatever, it's, you know, everyone has their own hustle. I'm not going to.
Sure. Of course, man. That's right. So what other I feel like as a business owner, it's good to be affiliated with like, I don't know if I'm going to ask this question right, but like, are there other organizations that you find yourself associated with or that you find are important for you as a leader? You know what I mean?
I like the IAI because they give us
Yeah.
a heads up on law changes, code changes, what
Hmm.
the city's doing before it happens.
Okay.
You know, like, basically guys bring to the table like, hey, I failed for this. You
Hmm.
know, they're looking at that or
Okay.
whatever, and we could discuss it and see, are they inspected wrong? Do we push back? Do we watch out for it on the next job? Things like that.
What,
It
and
was very good to go to that meeting, the IAI.
is that something that is accessible to electricians? Is that
Yeah,
you have
it
to get
should
like
be.
a oh
It's
okay
nationwide.
IAI. I'm gonna look them up.
IAEI,
Oh okay IAEI.
International Association of Electrical Inspectors.
Got it.
It's actually really good. They should have a local meeting somewhere. Every area has their own branch.
Okay.
So
I'll look into that. That's a really great idea. I mean, I always relish the opportunity to get to sit for an inspection because I get to talk to the inspector about like
yeah,
what we just, it's always good.
yeah.
Cool, right on. Well, man, Michael, thank you so much, man, for your time
Anytime.
as always, dude. I'll
Anytime.
I'll get you back on here too. Just I think I'd love the idea of having people that just kind of stop back in for a chat on topics that you're working on. So whatever you got coming up, if you want to talk about anything, just let me
Yeah.
know.
All right, same here, bro. If you ever want to, I'll jump back on.
Right on, man.
You know me, I like to hear myself talk.
Me too, man. That's what this whole thing's about.
Cool.
All right, brother. Good to see you, man.
Have a good night.
You too.
Take
Later.
care.